and I moved it down a little bit. And when that dries, it might not even be enough. And I'll come over here and soften this one. That one definitely is very soft. So I'll put a little bit more in here. Just so that we're bringing all our colors. Some teacher I took from said that you should be able to do this and be able to see every color that you're using in all those areas that you've used to marry all your colors together. Make sure you're using little bit, even if it's just a touch of this, a touch of blue in there, it will marry, it will be a very pleasing color scheme. So that's just something to keep in mind. All right, we're gonna let them dry, and then we'll come back and we'll do some more on these little buttons here and darken the shading. All right, now we have this pot. Now, this pot was two tones. It had brown down below and up above, and I didn't like the way it came out, so I may be doing it a little bit differently, but just to, oops, wrong blue, just to make it a little bit more lively. I think I filled up all of my light areas, so I think I'm gonna do this a little bit lighter. Okay. We need red, use a little blue. This time we're gonna use a lot of blue because the blue is, the top part is blue. But for the brown, we're gonna use red. A little blue, it's gonna make it purple. Now when we throw the yellow in, it's gonna turn it brown. Okay, and we want it a little bit darker brown. Where's a touch more red? Okay, so there's a nice brown. So it's just playing back and forth with your colors. And what I did here was I found, I'd like a warm brown at the bottom, just so it's a little different. A little bit warmer, and then I'm gonna take this brown and I'm gonna go up. And I just kind of dappled it in, leaving some light spaces. You can fill in as you go, but I just kind of dabbed. Now you might have a flow blue pattern in your head that you liked. You can always change it. You don't have to do the same thing I'm doing. And I didn't remember to wet it. It's always good to give it a little water when you're gonna play with color. So we'll wet it. Oh, that makes a nicer, softer look. Okay, so we got brown going on the pot this way. And then we're gonna move to some blues. And if you like blue-green, you can always mix your blue with a little yellow and you'll get a blue-green color. So you have some tints and accents for that as well. But I started out with blue. Yeah.
We had a collision.
Okay.
Does anybody here use Manasquan Bank's Zelly to pay people?
Zelle?
Zelle?
The Zelle?
Zello or
Zelle.
Zelle?
Yeah.
Zelle.
Not Manasquan
I don't
Bank.
use.
And Venmo.
Zen-
Yep.
yeah,
I use Venmo.
I use nothing really.
I like the Venmo.
And Visa.
Well, when I do shows, people will come and say, oh, I really love that, but I didn't bring anything with me. And I'll
Yeah.
say,
Sorry.
they'll say, do you do Venmo? And I said, well, I have the Venmo account, but I don't know how to work it. So then they're so nice, they'll take your phone and they'll show you how to do it.
Oh.
So that's how I learned how to do it. That was out at Alaire. They were
Yeah.
very nice people.
Yeah.
I pay my
They,
doggy daycare. I
Oh,
would give him cash. And he said, could you just sell me? I'm like,
Zelle.
so much trouble to sell him the money. I'm
Wow.
Yeah,
For
'cause
us,
they're each a
for us
different
it is.
brand.
Cash, not for the kids.
I'm like, don't you understand?
They don't have cash today.
No, they wire
Everything is a credit
everything.
card.
Yep, now
Credit
see,
card,
I added
Yeah.
just the blue tint. This was a little thicker paint. And I'll just go in and, this is fun. You just get to be playful with this. And you just add your
And that's a
Your-
round brush, right?
I'm using a round, yes. You use whatever brush is comfortable for you. And I also do not want this to be totally two-tone. I like to incorporate the blue down in here as well. It's a little drier, I might have to wet it.
Glazed
And,
terracotta.
what's that?
It's a glazed terracotta.
Oh, yes, yes. Yes, so
See,
you
they
can make
dipped it to
Blue, green.
there.
Yeah, blue and green, yeah. Little pottery, I thought it was pretty.
Brown, reddish,
I
brown.
thought it was pretty. So if you want more red in it, just make your red a little bit more known. You can do that. That's a little, there we go. Okay, and I got darker at the bottom, here and there. You put it on light first and then come back and introduce another value.
It's dimpled.
We're definitely, but if you
Or
get too
dappled.
polka dotty, when I watched, who was it? Somebody,
Capone.
I think it was Rose. If it gets too textury, too dimpled, too stripy, she just took a wet sponge and she smushed it, and it was beautiful. So
She makes it beautiful.
yeah, and you can too. If you get too much, sometimes it's just so distracting, it's irritating. So if you just soften it a little bit, you get the idea, but you don't have to have every perfect little scratchy line. And you can go back, and I wanted to add a little greenish tint in there. I was having fun with the green. So you can put a little green in there as well. Okay, I'm gonna have you get that far. And
That's a lot.
yeah, if you don't remember, you know the colors, you just have to play with them. And then we'll come back and we'll do some more.